Alright. I like that. I like that. But yeah, that fucking tooth pain though, dude. Can we talk about tooth pain? Can we
It's a
talk about
bitch.
tooth pain? That fucking tooth, that one that I was just talking about, like I said, it stopped hurting after a while, and I never went to go get it looked at, and this
Naturally.
went on for years, and eventually that fucking tooth, literally everything white about a tooth, what's that called, the enamel,
Yeah.
all gone. All that was left was like it literally looked like if you built a fucking four-wall sandcastle and the fucking tide just went over it one too many times and it just kind of melted into a former fucking shape of itself. That's all that was left of the tooth. It was literally just the the bare bones guts structures of what is in a fucking tooth. That was all that was left.
Yeah. I thought mine was bad. Because mine.
And hold on, sorry. But literally I let it get to that fucking point and it was like the texture of it, because I would fuck with it all the time. Cause I'm like, oh,
Of
that's
course.
not normal. I'm gonna fuck with that. Stick my fucking finger in my mouth and just wiggle it. The texture of it was like it felt like gum, like your gums,
Yeah.
except like 10 times harder. Like it kind of like it had some flexibility to it. Like it's the kind of texture like if you felt like if you grabbed it with like a pair of fucking tweezers, you could fucking
Yeah.
break it. And that shit was in my mouth for fucking ever. And then I remember one time I was at fucking Walmart with your cousin, my ex-girlfriend. That was weird. I should have just said Brittany.
Yeah.
I was at Walmart with Brittany, and we were just fucking walking, and I'm just minding my own business, and all of a sudden it felt like somebody fucking took a needle and just jammed it right into my fucking gum. And it was the tooth. And it literally crippled me. I fucking bent over and I was like, what the fuck? And Brittany's like, what? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, fuck. And she's like, what the hell? I'm like, my fucking tooth. Like, it went away and I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, that hurts so fucking bad. Then we went about our business. And that happened to me like 5 more times in the middle of fucking Walmart. And then that happened for a little bit. And then finally, after a little bit, that's when I got my first tooth removed. However, it was that tooth, and there was no tooth left. So they really had to fucking cut up all up in there
Yeah.
and get the fucking fragments
Yeah.
of what was left out of
That
there. And it was
sucks.
so funny because, we were talking about this last time we were over here. Your mouth is open, and they're just fucking digging into your shit. And they pulled that fucking tooth, quote unquote, out, whatever was left of it. I felt the fucking pressure let go, and I went, oh, and the fucking dentist was like, oh my god, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm just so happy to get rid of that tooth, because it had caused me so much agony for so fucking long, dude. Don't fucking smoke and brush your fucking teeth. Seriously, smoking is what's killed my teeth. Absolutely, 100%. The gingivitis set in, and it just started fucking going to work, dude.
Yeah, gingivitis get your ass. I get that too from smoking weed. It's not as bad as cigarettes, but you still get it because it's the heated plant matter. I mean, there's other shit in cigarettes that make it worse, but
I feel like my teeth are just fucking brittle, dude,
that could be a thing too. Some
because
people have
fucking
genetically
one of my
more brittle
one of
teeth.
my two front teeth, I can't, I'm literally not sure which one it is. I'm not sure if it's the left or the right one, but I think it's the left one is missing a piece, like a little shard of it's gone.
Yeah.
So I had a little paper cut feeling right in the middle of my two front teeth. I have the same thing in the bottom of my two bottom teeth. A piece of that fucking broke out a couple of fucking months ago. The fucking tooth right next to my left front one is fucking missing all its guts. You can see that. Big ass fucking hole. So every time I smile, it's fucking, you can just see right through it. It's horrible. My teeth are fucked up, man.
That's what I'm saying.
And
It's only a couple grand to
it's,
get them all ripped
and
out.
I'm pretty sure it has to be the smoking, cause like I brush my teeth and shit. Like I do that. I do the whole bit. It's got to be the smoking. It's the gingivitis, dude. Because all my most of my teeth, you can look at them right now. They can't. But you see all the black.
Yeah.
See how it starts from the gum line? That's gingivitis, dude. It starts there and it fucking spreads out and it just kills it all.
My dad had that shit real bad before he got his dentures and shit. But he did a lot more things to fuck his teeth up than just smoking cigarettes back in the day.
And watching Captain Kangaroo. Now don't tell me I've nothing to do.
Are you about to try and pitch me some cheesy fries?
What?
Your fucking world famous Roo fries?
No,
Roo
that
cut
was a
fries?
that was a song I was singing because you said smoking cigarettes and
Never heard this song.
yeah, you have. You know that song. Everybody knows that song. It's in Pulp Fiction. It's the song that Bruce Willis is listening to when he's driving in the car right before he hits Ving Rhames.
Oh, okay.
When Ving Rhames walks across the street and goes, "Motherfucker." The song that's playing in the car is that song, and then Bruce Willis hits him with the car. And, it's Pulp Fiction.
Oh, so jumping back to movies, I don't remember if I brought this up to you before or not, or if I was talking to my father about this. Django Unchained. That was meant to be at least two movies. I say three movies. Because you think about it. So, like, the first movie is him meeting Dr. King Schultz and all the first part, leading up to the Brittle Brothers and all that and killing Big Daddy. And then the second movie, I feel, was supposed to be the time that they were uh, in the mountains and shit for like winter. And then the third movie was supposed to be the Calvin Candy part. Because you just watching the Calvin Candy part, you can feel that there's so much shit that they should have and could have expanded on.
We'll talk about fucking Django. Continue.
But so my biggest part of this theory, though, is the movie The Hateful Eight. Because if you think about The Hateful Eight, they changed the characters around a lot and whatever, but you could see that scenario literally being in Django. Like in The Hateful Eight, they're bounty hunters and everything. So, but like the skeletons of that movie, the idea of being trapped in this winter storm, in this lodge or inn or whatever, with these bandits that you don't know, like the whole play out of the movie, like the skeleton of it is like that could have very easily been the winter scene in Django. But they just fucking hit you with that little tiny title crawl, and that's the winter scene. But at least you get the fucking the birthday cake scene.
All right, so good stuff. We'll unpack it. Um, so Django being split into multiple movies, I disagree with completely. So I think of Django as the beginning of Django is the introduction of all the characters that are going to play a part in the overall story. Schultz meets Django. He goes out with Schultz. They do the fucking thing at the bar where they shoot the fucking sheriff. It's a whole bit. And then he like leads him into the plot basically where he's like, "Hey, I want you to bounty hunt with me and I'm going to help you fucking save your wife."
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right." Well, that's what he says, fucking, "You can pay me to kill white folks."
Yeah.
I'm in. And so they do that, and then yes, and then they traveled up into the snowy, like it's a text crawl,
Yeah.
and they're like they climbed into the fucking mountains and the snowy mountains and had a very hard winter, but it was very bountiful and this and that, and then it cuts to the second half of the movie, which is the lead into Candyland, which holy fucking shit, the first time I saw Django Unchained, when Leonardo DiCaprio comes back out into the dining room after he finds out that he's getting played, he's a completely different character altogether.
Yeah.
And it's fucking amazing.
No, yeah.
But
Phenomenal shit.
now the Hateful Eight, because you were talking about that, you're not far off. I definitely don't disagree that the Hateful Eight has that same feel. But I think that the Hateful Eight is a separate movie that Quentin Tarantino always wanted to make anyways, But I think when he was working on Django Unchained, he kind of led into that, and he was like, holy fuck, that would be a really good story. I could just do that on its own. Because in the universe of Tarantino, when you look at it, you could read that text crawl. They go up in the mountains and they have a really hard winter, and then it could just kind of fucking lead into like a completely different separate story of like, this is how hard that fucking winter was. This is some shit that went down in the mountains.
Which in most movies might not make sense, but as a Tarantino film, you would buy that.
Yeah, but
It wouldn't surprise you.
you watch The Hateful Eight, and it's a rather, lengthy watch time.
Yeah.
So he just I think I've like heard interviews where he said that movie like he just kept writing and he just kept writing and he kept writing and he was like it was this big thing and then I had to bring it down and then I added to it and then I brought it down like it
But
was
see, that's kind of also lends to my point, though, is I feel like the reason he did that is he had all this leftover inspiration from Django.
no, I'm not saying that it definitely didn't fucking inspire the movie because I mean it absolutely did. I
Yeah,
mean,
but so my point is he could have just refocused all that into Django. And even taking out the Hateful Eight, uh, the middle part, the second of the three movies as I'm talking about, you could just do it as two movies, but have because especially Candyland, there's a lot of shit that I feel like that whole thing, like them going meeting Calvin, them going to Candyland, them being at Candyland, like when they first get there. Like I feel like there could have been more shit because like they talk about at the dinner table about them going to see the Mandingos and shit, and like all that. Show me, don't tell me, show me. And like of all the directors in the world that you would expect to show you and not tell you, it's Tarantino.
but he had the Mandingo fight
Yeah, he had
when
that
they
fight.
first met him.
Yeah, but like they talk about at the dinner, like him like looking about Django and King looking at Samson, Eskimo Joe, and
That's not the point of
whatever
the
it is.
scene. The whole point of the scene
No,
is
but
they're just trying to make the deal. That's all it is. That's the whole point of
yeah,
that
but that's
scene.
all part of the deal because
It's
by
not
making the deal,
it's not necessary to have the shit that you're
half the
talking
shit that
about.
Tarantino does is not necessary.
Oh, well, I mean, that's I don't agree with that 100 fucking %. We'd have to break that down, but we're talking about this right now. That's the whole point. The whole point of the scene is they're just pretending to be there to do that. They don't want to do that. They
Yeah,
don't
I
care to
get
do
that.
that. They're just trying to
So
make the
show me
deal.
them pretending the whole thing.
They were
Like
pretending the whole time.
I'm not taking anything away from the movie because one of my favorite fucking movies of all time. But I just feel, and maybe it's because I love the movie so much, I just feel like there could be more.
Well, I mean, you like want to see that. You want to see that like part of the operation, but I think like you forget about the scene where the fucking dogs eat the fucking dude alive. Like that covers like all of that, all the violence of it and all that, and that's a
Well, I'm
whole
not even
fucking
talking
scene, you
about
know.
showing that for the violence of it. Just honestly, just for the dialogue that would be there. Because especially again, the Candyland part of the movie, that's where the dialogue really starts to shine.
I mean,
Because like the first half of the movie is a lot of like, in my mind, a lot of artful filmmaking, and obviously it's still Tarantino fucking dialogue. Like it's still of his quality and caliber. But I feel like the second half of the movie is like just fucking above and beyond.
yeah, well, it's
And I understand it was written that way.
actually well, I think that's something about Tarantino is that when he this is just my personal, viewpoint from like watching his movies so many times. He does extremely well when he writes in a contained space. You know what I mean? Like think the bar scene in Inglorious Bastards.
Yeah.
That entire fucking segment, it just takes place in one fucking area and there's so much going on for a very long fucking time. He does really good in enclosed fucking
Well, I
areas like
think that
that.
makes sense too because as far as everything pertaining to the shot and what's going on, like he's, from what I've heard, he's quite the control freak. So, I mean, it's easier to control everything going on in a smaller room than it is, say, an open field, you know? So, yeah, that makes sense. But I never really thought about that. But you're right.
Like think about the
Because the dinner scene.
yeah, and think about the scene where Uma Thurman sits down to talk to fucking David Carradine in Kill Bill
Yeah.
Volume 2. Dude, like, I'm sorry, like, a lot of people don't like that fucking movie, but, like, that entire segment, cause you're just like, what the fuck's gonna happen? You're like, he shot her in the face, she came all the way here to kill this motherfucker, and they're just having casual conversation, and it put me on the edge of my seat the first time I fucking saw it, dude.
Oh yeah. Well, I think a lot of people's problem is the second one was not nearly as flashy as the first one, and then which is crazy because the first one had a lot of talking and story and shit, but I mean it ended on like the most ridiculous fucking fight you could have in a movie.
I think I watched, like, not too long ago, like a sword fighter breaks
I
down,
watched
and
that.
like I think that was in it. And he's like, he's literally like, this is just Hollywood Flash. He's like, it looks fucking great, but this is bullshit. All of it's
Yeah, he
bullshit.
also talked about the part I forget the dude's name, Wempo or Wepo, whatever his fucking name is. The dude with the staff that splits into the two
Yeah,
swords. Her sword is coming down and his staff intercepts it. So the force of her sword, like she's still pressing down and he separates. So when he does that, if she's any kind of swordsman, him doing that isn't going to force her blade back or whatever. Like she's going to just follow through with the
well, I
cut.
mean, unless he pushed against
Yeah,
it,
but even that, like if she's a swordsman, like you
she's
can
just going
accommodate.
down, is what you're saying. Like, no matter what he's doing,
Yeah, like
she's gutting, she's going
he could
for
get
it.
lucky, but no. In most cases, 9 out of 10 times in that situation, the person that does what he did is getting fucking cut.
I mean, I'll keep doing fucking examples. The diner scene in Pulp Fiction,
Yeah, good shit.
enclosed space. The pretty much the majority of fucking
Reservoir
Reservoir
Dogs. Yeah,
Dogs takes place in one fucking space.
and even the other places that it takes place, there's not a lot of open. Like, I
And
think the
then,
parking lot at the
I
diner
mean,
is the most
we could
open.
start nitpicking. I mean, like in Django, like I said, I mentioned earlier when they go to the bar in the town. And then he walks in and he's like, "Hey, we're not open yet." And he's like, "Oh, get him the hell out of here. We don't serve his kind." And he
Yeah,
fucking chases him out. And he's like, "Go get the fucking deputy." That scene where they sit down and he fucking serves him the beer
yeah, no,
and he drinks the beer, like that's great shit. Uh, the fucking scene in Death Proof when he's on the porch when it's fucking raining and he's talking to Butterfly and he fucking does the poem to her, the two shade thing I was talking to you about
oh
earlier.
yeah.
That entire fucking scene's amazing. I mean, he's really good at just fucking building a scene and fucking enclosing you
Well,
in
I
it.
think because he's so focused on like the aspects of it that he's focused on, he's so dialed in. Because he doesn't. It's weird because you watch it and at face value, it seems like there's a lot of like fat on it, but then when you really like pick it apart and watch it, you realize there's not a lot of fat in what he does. Like it's very dialed in and like lean. He doesn't waste time and words.
His actors say exactly what he wants them to say for sure.
How he wants them to say it too.
No, he's been quoted as like. So I watched something the other day, and some dude was talking about working, and he was like, you try to improvise, and he'd be like, "Hey, I wrote it on the paper. Say it how I wrote it on the paper, because Quentin Tarantino, he has a fucking vision in his
Yeah,
mind. That's how he wants to see it. But I mean, you could break down a whole bunch of fucking scenes like that. I think like I think that's why his movies work so well because it's just small enclosed spaces, and it just goes from that to another one, and they all kind of connect in one way. And he's just figured out a writing style, and he's just really fucking nails it, dude.
he does.
The
He's
bar
really
scene
good.
in Inglorious Bastards is one of my fucking goats, bro.
That
Like,
scene has. And I always talk to you about like those little subtle humor moments in movies that get lost in like bigger moments.
yeah,
And the bar scene in *Inglourious Bastards* has one of my favorite ones.
what's
It's
that?
towards the end, like after the shootout and everything, and the German soldier, I forget his name. He's down there. He has the gun or whatever. Aldo's about to come down. and he comes down, the German still has the gun, and he says his shit or whatever. But then at the end, like you just see his head and like his hand, and he's just like, no trust, no deal. And then he just like fades away behind the stair. Like it's so fucking perfect the way it happens. It's hilarious. Like it's just one of those
It's
little
like,
moments that just tickle
goddamn
me.
Mexican standoff if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, no, that's a great fucking movie too.
That's just that entire fucking scene it's Michael Fassbender kills it, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking kills it, dog.
I love it when he switches back to English. He's just like, I hope you don't mind if I go out speaking the Kings.
Speaking the Kings.
And then he hits you with there's a special ring in hell for people
Oh
that
yeah, when
waste a
he's
good
like,
glass of whiskey.
he's like about this pickle that we're in, old boy. It's like,
He's
there's a
just so
special
British.
ring. There's a special ring in hell for people who waste a good scotch.
Scotch,
He's
that's what
like,
it is.
seeing as I might be temporarily rapping on the door. He fucking takes it down. Oh my god, it's so good. And then, then they pull the guns, and fucking, he's like, what are we gonna do now? And fucking, the Stieglitz. He's just fucking say Helvetisine to your Nazi balls, and he just boo boo boo, and then he starts stabbing him in the back of the head. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
If he hadn't like just gone nutty on that fucking captain, like he might have lived and killed a couple more Nazis. But
Yeah,
like
no, he totally went
he
apeshit.
hated that guy. Like he just wanted to
Well, if
kill
I'm
that
not
guy.
mistaken,
I'm just saying he could have stabbed
Done
him
more.
like twice and then threw the knife.
Oh, speaking of subtle, humorous, brilliant moments in movies, fucking Django Unchained, when they first meet Calvin Candy, then he asks Dr. King if he wants anything to drink, and he gets a beer. Dr. King says, Prost. And then Calvin Candy, just German.